Hello everyone. So welcome to a new lesson of modern control theory. So in the past few classes, we were discussing about the state space models. Okay. So the state space model and transfer function, they are related. So in this class, we are going to see how they are related and we will take up one or two numerical examples. Okay. So transfer function or relationship between transfer function and state space model and state space models. Okay, that's the topic for the day. So let us consider an LTI SISO system. Okay, consider an LTI. What is LTI? Linear time invariant system. Okay, LTI SISO system. What is SISO? Single input, single output system. Okay, in state space form. In state space form as so x dot t equals a x t plus b u. Why I didn't put a bar under u? Because there is only one input, single output system. Okay, so otherwise you would have been an array or a vector. To be more precise, you would have been a vector. Okay, we are considering an LTI SISO system, single input, single output system. That is why I didn't put a bar under u, because we have only one input. Similarly, phi of t equals cx plus d. Why there is no bar under y? Because there is only one output, single input, single output system. So our u and y are scalars. Okay. Let me mark this as equation 1 and equation 2. Okay, so this is equation 1 and this is equation 2. Right? Now, what is transfer function? Ratio of Laplace transform of output to Laplace transform of the input when all initial conditions are 0. Right? So we will assume take the Laplace transform of these two equations. What's our input variable here in this state space model? It is u. What's the output variable? It is y. So we need to find the relationship between y, the output, and u, the input. Okay, so we'll take the Laplace transform and assume 0 initial conditions. Taking Laplace transforms and assuming 0 initial conditions. Assuming 0 initial conditions. Assuming 0 initial conditions. From equation 1, what did you get? When you take Laplace transform of x dot, you will get s into x of s. Is it not? So since we are assuming 0 initial conditions, that x naught term will not be there. Otherwise, that would have been there. Okay, if you take, strictly speaking, if you take L of f dot t, df by dt, what would you have got? You would have got s f of s minus f of 0, where f of 0 is the initial condition. Okay, but since we are assuming 0 initial conditions, that f of 0 is 0 here. Okay, so I can write s x of s equals what? A into x of s plus b u of s. Okay, or from here, I will take this ax of s term to the left side. So what will I get? Sx of s minus ax of s equals what? B u of s. Okay, x of s term is common. So what can I write? That means what? Si. Okay, it should be s into I. Why I? Because A is a matrix here. Okay, and what is I? I should be the identity matrix. Okay, so this will be Si minus A into x of s equals b u of s. So from this, what will be our x of s? Our x of s will be Si minus A inverse b u of s. Okay, this is equation 3. Right? Now you take Laplace transform of 2. What will you get? Y of s equals c into x of s plus d u of s. Okay, instead of x of s, I will put 3 here. Okay, 3 into 3 into, what would you get? Y of s equals C into Si minus A whole inverse B U of s plus D U of s. What's the output variable? Y of s. What's the input variable? U of s. So you just need to take the ratio. Therefore, Y of s by U of s, which is nothing but the transfer function. G of s is nothing but C into Si minus A whole inverse B plus D. Okay, so if you know the transfer function, you can obtain the state space representation. Or if you know the ABCD matrices, you can find the corresponding transfer function. Okay, so in case if D is 0, what happens? If D equal to 0, then our transfer function G of s will be what? Nothing but C into Si minus A inverse B. Okay, so what will be the output equation? Output in that case, just this thing into U of s. Therefore, output Y of s would be C into Si minus A inverse B U of s. That's it. Okay, so this is how transfer function and state space models are related. Now let us consider BMO case. Okay, an nth order system. Consider an nth order system with P inputs and Q outputs. Okay, so then out of the state space model, x dot t equals ax plus b, and now u is a vector here. Why? Because b will be an array and u is a vector. Okay, and similarly, y of t will be what? C into x of t plus d u of t. Okay, again, so instead of getting a single transfer function g of s here, now we have a transfer function matrix. Okay, for example, suppose there were two inputs y1, y2, and there were two outputs. So the two outputs y1, y2, and two inputs u1, u2. How many transfer functions are possible between this input and output? 4 transfer functions are possible. For example, between y1 and u1, first transfer function. Okay, between y1 and u2, second transfer function. Between y2 and u1, third transfer function, and between y2 and u2, the fourth transfer function. Okay, so instead of getting a simple transfer function, we have what is called a transfer function matrix or a transfer matrix. Okay, so if you follow similar lines of deriving these things, you will get our transfer function matrix or transfer matrix as, again, C into Si minus A inverse B plus B. Okay. This is how the transfer function and state space are related. Let us take one quick example. Derive the transfer matrix. Derive the transfer matrix. So you are given x dot equals the matrix you are given -1, 1, 0, -2x plus. So you see here now B is an array. Okay. Why? Because there are two inputs. So U bar, U1, U2, it should be. Okay. And Y equals 1, 0, 1, -1x. Okay. So we are given, what's your D here? D is not given. So D is to be 0. Okay. So we are given A equals -1, 1, 0, -2. Then B is given as a matrix 1, -1, 0, 1. And C is nothing but another matrix 1, 0, 1, -1, and D is equal to 0. Okay. So how to find the transfer matrix? How are they related? G of s is nothing but C into Si minus A inverse B plus D. Okay. So first we need to find what is Si minus A inverse. What's the order of A? A is a 2 by 2 matrix. So our identity matrix will be also of the order 2 by 2. So what is Si? Si will be what? Nothing but S into 1, 0, 0, 1. That means S, 0, 0, yes. So what will be Si minus A? Si minus A will be what? S0, 0, S minus 1, 1, 0, minus 2. So what would you get? It will be S plus 1, right? It will be S plus 1, then 0 minus 1, minus 1, 0, S plus 2. Okay, so now we need to find Si minus A inverse. How will you find Si minus A inverse? How will you find inverse of the matrix? Adjoint divided by determinant. So adjoint of A, Si minus A divided by determinant Si minus A. Okay, now what is adjoint? Adjoint means cofactor transpose. Okay, so how will you find the determinant? Determinant Si minus A. What would you get? S plus 1 into S plus 2 minus 0. So you will get S plus 1 into S plus 2. Okay, and what will be adjoint? Adjoint of Si minus A. What will be that? Cofactor transpose. So how will you find the cofactor? So this is our first element. Minus 1 raised to 2. 1 plus 1, 2. So you will get S plus 2. Okay, here what will you get? 0. Is it not? So how will you find the cofactor? So you delete the row and the column containing S plus 1. Okay, so minus 1 raised to, this is the first row and first column, minus 1 raised to 1 plus 1 into S plus 2. So that means S plus 2. What will be the next element? Again, minus 1 raised to, this is first row and second column. So 1 plus 2 into what? You delete this row and this column into 0. That means 0. Then what will be the next one? Minus 1 raised to second row and first column. You delete this row and this column. You are left out with minus 1. So minus 1 into minus 1 plus 1. Then minus 1 raised to second row and second column. Minus 1 raised to 2 into what? Into, you delete this row and this column into S plus 1. So that means S plus 1. Transpose. Okay, so that will be what? Nothing but S plus 2, 0, 1, S plus 1. Correct? So what will, how can you find your Si minus A inverse? Si minus A inverse will be nothing but adjoint Si minus A divided by determinant. That means 1 divided by S plus 1 into S plus 2 into what? S plus 2, 1, 0, S plus 1. Or you will get 1 by S plus 1, 1 by S plus 1 into S plus 2, 0 and 1 divided by S plus 2. Correct? So what is this? This is Si minus A inverse. What is our G hat? G bar? C into Si minus A inverse B plus B. Therefore, G of S, the transfer function matrix will be nothing but C into Si minus A inverse B plus D is 0. Okay, so I can write this as C. What is our C matrix? C is 1, 0, 1 minus 1. 1, 0, 1 minus 1. C into Si minus A inverse. What is that? That is this thing. Yeah. So I can write this as 1 by S plus 1. Then 1 by S plus 1 into S plus 2. Then 0 and 1 by S plus 2. Si minus A inverse into what? Into B. So what is B? 1 minus 1, 0. 1 minus 1, 0, 1. 1 minus 1, 0, 1. Okay. Now how will you expand this? This into this plus this into this will be the first row. So you know how to multiply that, right? First you multiply these two, then you multiply with this thing. So eventually what will you get? You will get this as 1 by S plus 1 minus 1 by S plus 2, 1 by S plus 1 and minus 2 divided by S plus 2. So this is the transfer function matrix, G bar. Okay, so in this way you can calculate what's the transfer function or transfer function matrix from the given ABCD matrices. Okay, now eigenvalues. If you consider the general case of a transfer function matrix, what was G of S? C into Si minus A inverse B plus D. Correct? C into Si minus A inverse B plus D. Right? So as I said before, how will you find the inverse? C into adjoint divided by determinant. Adjoint of Si minus A divided by determinant of Si minus A into B plus B. Correct? Or if you take the LCM, what will you get? C into adjoint of Si minus A into B plus D into determinant Si minus A whole divided by determinant Si minus A. Right? What is transfer function? Ratio of Laplace transform of output to Laplace transform of input. So here you have some numerator and here you have some denominator. Okay. What do you mean by poles? What are poles? Poles are those values of S which makes a transfer function infinite. Okay. That means poles are given by the roots of the denominator of the transfer function. Okay. So I can say that determinant Si minus A corresponds to the denominator polynomial of the transfer function. Is it not? Because this is also transfer function. This is also transfer function. Right. So denominator polynomial here of this transfer function corresponds to determinant Si minus A. Right. So roots of the denominator of the transfer function are poles. So that means roots of determinant Si minus A should correspond to the poles. Okay. But in matrix terminology, roots of this determinant Si minus A, they are called eigenvalues. Eigenvalues. Okay. So that means poles of this transfer function are same as eigenvalues of determinant Si minus A equal to 0. Okay. When you equate the denominator to 0, you will get the Katsy equation, right? And if you equate determinant Si minus A equal to 0, you should get the corresponding Katsy equation. So poles of transfer function and eigenvalues of the determinant Si minus A equal to 0, they are one and the same. They will correspond to one another. Okay. So let me write here. Determinant Si minus A is called characteristic polynomial. Characteristic polynomial. And if you get it to 0, you get characteristic equation. Okay, is called characteristic polynomial, and the roots of the characteristic equation are the poles of the transfer function. Okay, so if we know the poles of the transfer function, how we check for stability? We will look for whether the poles are in the left half, whether they have negative real parts. If they have, or if all the poles have negative real parts, system is stable. Otherwise, if the roots are having positive real parts, system is unstable. Okay. Similarly, you look for eigenvalues. If eigenvalues are all negative, system is stable. If eigenvalues are positive, system is unstable. Okay. So there's a one-to-one corresponds between poles of a transfer function and eigenvalues of the state space model. Determinant Si minus A equal to 0. Did you get me? Poles of the transfer function. So in matrix terminology, roots of determinant Si minus A equal to 0 are called eigenvalues. They are called eigenvalues. Okay. Since the poles of transfer function, decide system stability, so are eigenvalues. So are the eigenvalues. Okay. So if the poles are having negative real parts, system is stable. Similarly, if all the eigenvalues are having negative real parts, system is stable. Okay. If all the poles are in the right half, system is unstable. Likewise, if the eigenvalues are having positive real parts, system is unstable. Okay. Okay, is that clear? So now let us take one example. For an LTI system, A equals 0, 1, minus 2, minus 3. Determine the characteristic equation. Determine the characteristic equation and eigenvalues. Okay, what's the characteristic equation? Determinant Si minus A equal to 0. Okay, so that means here you will get S, then minus 1, then 2, S plus 3 equal to 0. So how what will be the characteristic equation? S into S plus 3, this into this, minus this into this. So plus 2 equal to 0. That means S square plus 3S plus 2 equal to 0, or just nothing but S plus 1 into S plus 2 equal to 0. Okay, so what are the eigenvalues? Eigenvalues lambda are minus 1 and minus 2. Okay, minus 1 and minus 2. So in this way, you can find the eigenvalue. You can check whether a system, when represented in state space model, is stable or not. What you have to do, you have to first find the characteristic equation. What is characteristic equation? Characteristic equation means determinant Si minus A equal to 0. Look for the polarity of the eigenvalues. If all the eigenvalues have negative real parts, the system is stable. If all the eigenvalues have positive real parts, system is unstable. Okay, so with this, we will stop for the day. Thank you.